When my man calls me and says, yo, I need to talk. I got some stuff I got to get off my chest. We make it happen. I'm NinoBrown. It's CFB Nation. You see him on the screen, playing with house money, T2T zone, Prue Baby 10, if you can find him on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. You see it on the screen, bro. FSU. Tell him why you're mad, son. Prue.
Man.
This is your time, my man.
They move the goalposts too many times, man. And I wouldn't have an issue. I wouldn't have an issue if they stayed consistent and they didn't try to predict these games like they know, the whole roster, they know the outcomes, they know the conferences like the back of their hands, but then you see some things in there that don't quite match up with that.
No, you're right. But you know how it is with me and you. Like, we got a doc, but I got backup plans. I'm always gonna throw you some kind of curveball, but I'm not worried about it with you, man. You're a seasoned veteran. You ready for this? You know what I'm saying? You ready to go to war? You put on the black paint before you go on here like Arnold. So I'm gonna hit you with some rapid fire, and then we're gonna get into a little bit of this nonsense. I'm gonna call it nonsense because that's what it is. It's nonsense. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah, most definitely.
Rapid fire, straight out answer. Level of 1 to 10 on how mad you were at decision night.
100.
You ready to break the TV?
I almost broke a blood vessel. It was ridiculous.
I felt bad for you. I was like, I was gonna tweet out. I'm like, nah, he needs his own time. He needs the space.
And people message me, man. People are texting me, dude.
Nah, you don't do that.
Outrageous.
Yeah, you can't. You got to give him at least 24 to 36 hours to let yourself digest all that garbage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The response they got wasn't gonna be so.
No, not friendly.
Nice,
not user friendly.
We tread lightly.
I got you. Jordan Travis takes a Hendon Hooker route to the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a little less severe of a recovery.
Okay.
Obviously with fractures, you don't really want to wish injuries on anybody, but it's a lot better than an ACL.
Yes.
And I think he comes in with a little bit more polished traits than Hooker did. Obviously, Hooker was lighting it up, but you saw glimpses of him really struggling against complex defenses, especially that SEC when they were really, winning in the trenches for him. But I think Travis does need a little bit more time in a pro style. But I think his anticipation, his accuracy is going to help him along, and obviously the shorter recovery.
I think Travis needs a little more snaps on the center.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that he's bad at it, but he does need a little more experience. I mean, it's a lot of guys. Look at Baker. I mean,
dude, every college quarterback is bad at it. Like we don't even have to split hairs. They're bad at it under center. Mm-hmm. And that used to be Florida State's upside, is like they used to run a pro style. Everybody kind of liked it. Don't get me wrong, it kind of messed up a few NFL GMs for, overlooking it sometimes, but he definitely needs a lot more in a pro style, and he needs to be able to work with guys that aren't all Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson. So
yeah, agreed. It's ugly. It's just we'll get to it. How long does we put him up on the screen? We got Fall in the chat saying RIP to the ACC. Here's my question: how long does Florida State have an ACC?
Yeah, now it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be any more than 3 years. At the beginning of the season, they wanted to get out, and I was
going to say 100 million, right?
I feel like this is why.
Yeah,
you see a lot of the judgment come, especially in that conference now that Clemson isn't cream of the crop. Now that Miami is struggling, and let's be honest, I mean, even that last game of the season with Florida every year doesn't really help Florida State anymore. They'll obviously still play it with the in-state rivalry and whatnot. But yeah, I think 3 years would shock me, but I don't think it's any more than that. I wouldn't doubt that they try to push something, ASAP.
7 months.
Yeah. And I wouldn't. Well,
they're going to use this, right? So here's what's going to happen. If this ever gets, they're going to push the envelope. And if the committee and college football doesn't give them some kind of fluff for this, right? They're going to take them to court. They don't want to go subpoena. College football don't want text messages from ESPN and all that, background saying I'm not putting that on my screen,
Right.
because I have a funny feeling some of that happened. They don't want that because once it gets subpoenaed, hello,
Yeah, exactly.
everybody's got access to that
And it
stuff.
sounds like they got Ron DeSantis behind them too. They don't want that. They don't want that mob behind them either.
You stop
So
putting it, you flexing, So
hey,
they already put up 100. Boots has got 100 million within like a month.
When you have the courage to go against Disney, college football better watch out. Like, my man's ain't playing. So yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. I think they're gonna probably try to hold out until the Georgia game, but yeah, I wouldn't doubt that it's gonna be this year, especially now.
Yeah, I think the snowball just became into a big boulder.
Yeah.
Can Florida State beat any of the 5 teams in the top 6 right now?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you push. I think you stop a lot of these teams' runs, specifically Michigan and Washington. Mm-hmm. I don't really fear those offenses as much as people probably would think. And you've seen one team that, goes over 400 yards a game. They can't even get in the end zone against this team. Me personally, as a football fan, I think if they don't beat them, they would give all 4 a game. I think they're going to give Georgia a game. It's funny because out of those 5 teams, I think I would fear Georgia the most. I don't think Michigan is who people think they are, and Washington really. I mean, you need Penix Jr. to ball for them to be a real threat. I don't really think that's going to be. I don't even think they make it, to be honest with you.
Dylan Johnson's not going out for $170 and 3 touchdowns again. Like I said at the beginning of the year, he was an asset to them. He was a huge asset to them coming out of Mississippi State because he averaged 40 receptions a season. So, like, it's perfect for Washington.
Dude, he's the whole motor.
Yeah,
when you could just run on first and second, it changes everything, especially in college. And you're not doing that against this Florida State defense. Michigan?
No. I don't think you can do it against Michigan either. No. Penix will get, I don't want to say exposed, but it'll be a lot difficult.
And he's better than McCarthy.
Yeah.
Yes. Florida State can definitely give all of these teams a game. And I'm tired of people acting like, 1, the third string quarterback would have started. He wouldn't have started by then. And then 2, we've seen teams win plenty of times with that. Greg McElroy won the national championship, threw for 56 yards.
He forgets that, though, because he tweeted out that nobody's won without having their elite quarterback in. Yeah, he forgot that he won it, too. He only threw the ball 7 times in that game. But
man got carried.
Yeah.
Man got carried.
300 yards rushing on the ground right between
with a Heisman running back.
Yeah.
And let's not even bring up Heisman's because Florida State beat one. So.
Yeah. All right. Prue, my man. How's life? How's playing with house money going? How's titles? How's everything going for you?
Man, I'm alive and well. I can't complain. Playing with house money's doing great. We're growing a little bit, catching some traction. It's been fun. You can catch me on Twitter at PrueBaby10. Catch me on Instagram. Obviously, playing with house money. We have the Twitter and Instagram as well. It's PW_house money. It's been going great, man. Toilets is obviously, they're treating me well. They've always showed us love right from day one. So, man, we can't complain. We're always looking for, more friends and more people to chop it up with. But, I can't complain at all.
Yeah, that's always a good thing when it's all positive and love. You got to love it.
Yeah, most definitely. I'd rather go through the grind with, with the love than
grind.
Than chase the hate like a lot of people do. So yeah, I can't complain at all. We're alive and well.
Yeah, like I always say, I'm here for the smoke, bro. Like that.
Hey,
ain't nothing gonna put a hair across my ass. Let's go have fun.
Yeah, I'm not dodging any smoke, but I would rather it be love first.
Yeah.
I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy till I ain't. So hey, it's always love, but.
Don't take that kindness for weakness, right?
Hey,
that's Florida State's motto right now. So it is what it is.
Always.
Did the committee get it right?
Do they ever?
No.
And it's because my thing is like, you guys can't keep moving the goalpost, man. You can't. And then the SEC favoritism is a little out of hand. Yeah, don't get me wrong. They're the best conference. I get it. But realistically, these teams have to play each other anyway. And then on top of that, some of them are not showing out against these teams that they're supposed to. So it's like the favoritism, I get it. Because you got Saban, you got Georgia, obviously 29 in a row. The last team to do that, obviously Florida State. It's just one of those things where I wish it would just be clear cut. as to why they're doing these things and not have any cushion. Now, I know you're saying, you understand both sides earlier, you were telling me, but at the same time, all of these teams that are in there have struggled against certain teams and they had their starters. We can't predict these games with the backup. We can't predict these games with the backup with a month's preparation. It's just one of those things where I don't think they got it right. I think a Power 5 undefeated NCAA team should automatically get in. I know everybody's like, oh, well, what about Liberty? Liberty is not a Power 5. It's different. It's different.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think they got it right at all.
Are you ready to come out the corner and throw a little bit of a haymaker at you? Listen, you're my guy, right?
Of
and
course.
I got a Florida. Dion's my dude. Like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like,
don't apologize in advance. I came ready. You good.
All right. I don't want people to think that I'm playing the, against you. Cause I'm not. I told you I'm right down the middle. We're going to rewind the clock a little bit. You say SEC got favoritism. Cool. And I lately, yeah. But I remember in 2004, 13-0 Auburn team ranked 2, didn't even get a goddamn invite to the championship. Yeah. People want to say, oh, Utah. Didn't beat a goddamn ranked team that whole season. Don't talk to me about Utah. They faced a ranked team, didn't get a dub against the ranked team. They don't count. Auburn beat 3 of them.
Yeah.
Won the SEC championship game at the number 2 spot, didn't get the championship belt. That's trash, bro.
It is. But are we talking about the college football playoff?
I'm just it was BCS.
Now that's my thing, is where this whole playoff came about
because
to try to make it, one of those where this doesn't happen. Where this you can get 4 teams in and have your best 4, and Auburn definitely would have been in there. But
there's similarities though. I mean, it's crazy because if you look, Jason Campbell's numbers are eerily similar to Jordan Travis, right down to 1 yard differential in passing.
I did not expect to hear about this Auburn team right now, but I really did. I shouldn't have expected anything less from you. They got cheated. But my thing is has Auburn ever really gotten the love that the SEC, the powerhouses of the SEC get?
No.
Like if that was, I wouldn't even give you Alabama or Georgia. If that was Tennessee, they would have gotten it.
Yeah, they got beat up by Oklahoma, right? Yeah. Oklahoma took their spot. Who was in the 4? No, they were in the 3 because Cal was 4.
Now that Oklahoma team was deep,
but they got smoked.
But it's exactly, and that's my thing, is where the product. It's people are predicting these games,
right?
People are taking the roster, the star players that they love and they think are going to be great later down the line, and they're predicting these games and saying these are the best 4 teams. Now, do I personally think Alabama is one of the top 4 teams? No, not at all. To be honest with you, I don't think Alabama is better than Oregon. And I know that game against Georgia obviously steers that one way.
Well, so all right. But people are going to try to say, and this is why I brought up this is my full circle. You know me. I always got a game plan, right? Yeah. So I brought up Auburn because you said Alabama. And everybody wants to say, it took a miracle for Alabama to beat Auburn. What people don't get, outside of Ohio State and Michigan, this is the biggest rivalry in college football. Spreads don't matter in this game. It don't mean shit. Auburn could be the 132nd ranked team, and Alabama could be 1. That game's going down to the wire, no matter where it's played, okay? Yeah. So, it took a miracle. It has a little bit more weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like what everybody said about Washington going into that Oregon game.
Facts.
It's like, the last couple weeks they've looked horrible, yada yada. I swear, my own father was like, Washington's looked bad. They haven't been able to play, yada yada. I say, this is a whole different game.
Yeah.
This is a whole different game. You're coming with everything you got. You're coming with the juice. There's a lot different of a fire and energy in those type of games. And what do? They ball out. And it's one of those where it's a day and night difference of what they were the last few weeks, but they show out.
They found some physicality in them in Oregon. Right. Who was physical? Oh, yeah. That line protected Bo. Oh, yeah. It folded up like a freaking chair at a 4th of July parade.
And tell me that Bama doesn't come with that same fire after watching Georgia just win back-to-back. And
they knew that was all for them. They put it all on the table because they knew if they don't win that game, they have no shot, no hope, right? Because Texas already had the tiebreaker against them no
Yeah.
matter what. So
And they knew if they won and they would likely get in no matter what for winning the SEC, they knew they wouldn't have to see those boys again.
yeah, and
So,
you mentioned toying, moving the goalposts, okay? They moved the goalposts last year. And for part of my French, it fucked up college football. Okay. TCU didn't belong there, had no right being there, but that's why Florida State's not there. They can't take that ratings hit again. It's a money grab, and you know it. I know it hurts to say they don't want to see a 52-10 blowout in the final.
One, I have two replies to that. One, that TCU team beat Michigan.
And then went to sleep.
Two, TCU does not have the college football following that Florida State University has.
Outside of Michigan, they lost their championship game. You don't belong there, bro. Like, the fact that a P5, you got to win that conference. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't win that, because if that's the case, the Ducks go.
Yeah, and their season this year kind of proved that they didn't have the roster.
Right.
Anyway, I mean, 1 year and you're out. I mean, it's TCU's
they're nervous. So they're nervous of having that happen again because, and I'm not saying Florida State would do that, but they're not trying to see a blowout week 1 where Rodemaker gets smoked and it's like 35-10 at half, and now people are doing this. They don't want that. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm not saying it is.
Are they predicting the game?
Yes, that's what they do because it comes out of their pocket, and that's a problem. People see it as a sport. It's not always a sport. It's a business.
Yeah.
That's why it's NIL now.
I think Florida State does bring a lot behind them money-wise as well. I mean, we're not talking TCU. We're not talking Texas Christian. I couldn't tell you the last time I heard of Texas Christian was since LT went there.
Mike Norvell, Nick Saban.
Come on, man.
Wait. You're not you. You're not me. You're that casual that comes down and sits at the TV for the last 2 games of the year when everybody else does on New Year's, right? You don't know who Mike Norvell is, but you damn knew who Red-Eye Saban is, right? Yeah. They know that they're going to get that casual view. Is it right? Hell no, bro. Hell no. You guys got played. It's garbage. That's why it says snubbed on the screen, because I'm with you got snubbed, right? But I'm just letting people understand this is why they do what they do.
Yeah, it's obviously a business first. My thing is I understand Saban and Alabama in general, biggest college football team of all time. My thing is, then why do we have
the prerequisites? That scares, bro. These old, I said this earlier. There's no country for old men. They're scared. Old men don't like losing money.
You can make that revenue prediction simply because it's Alabama, though.
Right.
Like if Georgia wins that game,
but Georgia,
are we going to still talk about? But they're not going to bring the revenue Alabama's going to bring. It's Alabama. You can't tell me this is the biggest.
But you got a chance to win 3 in a row. Bringing 3 in a row, having the chance to win 3 in a row will bring the casuals in. It's never been done. That's what you don't. You see, that's what it's about. The committee.
It would have been a loss of revenue. Period. It might not have been 150 million. It would have been a loss of revenue.
Yeah.
Period.
They don't want to lose money
because it's not Alabama.
Right.
And then personally, the people that are actually college football fans, we don't care about what they lose anyway.
No, I don't give a shit what they lose. They got plenty of money.
Regardless, though. My thing is yes, you lose the revenue. It's obviously a business first.
Right.
But then why do we have the prerequisites to get in?
I think this is the year they could kind of finagle the bagel.
We might as well just make it 2 SEC teams, 2 Big Ten teams, and call it a day. Because then at least you'll get Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia. Everybody makes money. Everybody's happy.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, I guess. But then it worked out perfectly. They wanted 2-pack in there because it was the end of the Pac-12, and you were possibly getting 2 of them in there. What a way to ride it out, right? So you knew one was getting in. You knew that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
If they could have got 2 SECs in there, they probably would have put 2 SECs
in
there.
If Texas didn't beat Alabama, they would have. Georgia would have been in.
Yes.
They would have put Georgia over Florida State, which wouldn't have made sense because Florida State's still ranked over Georgia as it is, which that doesn't really make sense to me either.
Number 1 all year, you lose 1 game and you drop 5 spots. Whatever.
Yeah. And you're behind the team that they just cheated
Yeah,
to get in.
it's kind of odd. It kind of exposes themselves by doing that, right? Like
Exactly.
you guys are dumb, bro. You let everybody see you.
You might as well move us to 7.
Yeah. Here's my thing. Before we go into the next question, and I said this before, if they were going to treat you guys like this, the week before it came down to the championship, they should have demoted you to 5.
They had been
and earn it. Like, show us you have to get it. Like, if that's the way they felt, show us to win to get in.
And they were planting seeds to do it the whole time.
No
they were just praying. They were just praying Florida State lost. They were just praying Florida State lost so they could just be like, you know what?
They were like,
they're like, oh, what do we do at Florida State? What do we do at Florida State? What do we do at Florida State? And it's like, you still got them at 4. You might as well move them.
Right.
You should have.
They were literally
just praying. They were praying that they lost so they didn't have to even explain it. I knew after that, I knew going into Louisville week that that's what was going to happen. Even going into Florida, it was just like, dude, they're bringing it up too much. And I just know
face for you. You know that, yeah.
It was just too well, you know, those seeds were planted a little too well. So, yeah.
All right, let's get a couple more questions. If Georgia beats Florida State by 20 plus points, does it answer the question that everybody asking of, does Florida State even belong?
Yeah. I'll be man enough to tell you, yeah. If they get dog walked and get dubbed, yeah, then they shouldn't have been in.
But and you think that will simmer out after that? If it happens.
No, I think they'll still use the crutch that they have, any leverage just for the prerequisites of getting in. Okay. Just for them to, you got to use what you can get, especially in these type of situations where you got a whole conference kind of banking on you. Obviously a huge fan base banking on you, a very good body of work. But if you lose by 20 to Georgia, which obviously a great team, one of the best teams in the country.
Right.
That does water it down a little bit. I don't think it changes Florida State's approach at all, but personally, yes, it would definitely justify them in my eyes, even as a Florida State fan. Do I think that Georgia's going to hang them by 20? No. I think Georgia's going to be lucky if they hit over 24.
Well, here's my thing is Carson Beck hasn't declared. And it looks like he's going to be starting in that, right? Is Jared Verse going to play for you guys?
Yeah.
You sure about that? 100%?
Yeah, I think Johnny not playing was kind of just like he's really big. He's 6'7" receiver. He's typically a little banged up, not even just like
missed a few games this year already. Wait,
and when you watch him play, I mean, every hit he takes, he kind of does that wince, and he's one of those receivers that like when he drops the ball, he's kind of hurt.
He wince into yeah.
And I played receiver, so I feel him. But I think with how this went and them wanting to prove a point, this is one of those rosters where it's like they have a lot of fight in them. They play really hard for Mike Norvell. I think Jared plays. I think Keon plays. Obviously, I think Trey plays. I think you're going to see 98% of that roster besides, I mean, Johnny might be the only one that doesn't, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right. And I think if they all play outside of Johnny, then we're going to see. It's going to be.
It's going to be a dogfight.
All right.
And we have the kid. I mean, you're giving the kid a month to prep. At the end of the day, these rosters aren't, these are the good recruiting classes, dude. A lot of people forget, these young guys got some juice.
Ade was a highly recruited kid coming out of, was 4-star, right? Coming out of high school. So like
I want to say he might have even been a 3-star until his like senior year.
Yeah, he gained
it everybody kind of jumped on him. But even when he came in, I mean, you could tell he's just fearless. And at the end of the day, dude, you got that roster with that offense, that type of offense where it has that much spacing, and then you have obviously a guy like Keon.
I love the running game. Running game's been good. Running game's been good lately.
Did Trey prove us wrong or what?
Yeah, well, he been Katy Perry though. There's been games where he disappeared, and then there was games where he's a con goal. But your boy LT coming out there like, what do you go for? Almost 200 in that game, like 180 or something. Like he went off. So they have the weapons in the backfield that they cannot have to just put the whole pressure on the kid.
That defense is insane, bro.
Yeah, and when you got a defense that can keep it less than 15 points, you're always in the game. There's a chance to win.
For sure.
Would Florida State open as less than a 12-point underdog to any of these teams in the college football playoff? I asked that because there was 0 passing touchdowns the last 2 games.
Yeah, they would. But we beat the books all the time. It's what we do.
Yeah.
Come over to Playing with House Money. I'll show you why we don't care about spreads. I'll take that spread all day. 12? I'll take that spread all day. They would. Okay. They would because just this entire situation and the quarterback situation, obviously. But when you hold a team that's averaging over 400 yards a game, Louisville couldn't do anything. And obviously, I know it's Louisville. They had a very good season though, and they were a fast team, quick hitters, high pace, up tempo. They couldn't do anything. I would take that spread all day. They would. I think all 5 of these teams you'll come in as a 12-point underdog, and I'm taking it against all of them.
I'm glad you mentioned Louisville here, because
yeah, me
Louisville,
too.
Louisville was great for 7 weeks until people got tape on them.
Yeah.
We can start talking about how really good they were because they let up 31 points for 4 out of the last 5 weeks to close the season. So how good was really Louisville when you faced them?
I'm not going to take anything away from that team.
I can see the smile, so that says it enough.
I'm not going to take anything away from that team.
That defense was great.
Yeah.
But that offense on the other side of the ball was not very good.
No. No, it wasn't.
One-trick pony in Jawad Jordan.
Yeah.
And when you bottle up the one-trick pony, they were able to stop that offense. But that offense and that defense was trash down the stretch.
Are all of the teams we're going to talk about not have one guy that you can stop and change their whole aspect?
Well, no, not necessarily. Not necessarily. On all these teams that we're talking about, Florida State, if I take away Benson, you can still beat me with two receivers, right? Alabama, you take away a run game that they didn't have all year outside of Milroe, they can still beat you. That's what
I'm saying, though. If you take away their guy, is what I mean. Like, taking away Louisville's guy, yes, it obviously changes it. If I bottle up Milroe and make him beat me with his arm, is he going to do it?
Yeah, he did it. Multiple times. You don't believe in him.
The man, he put up 17 points against South Florida.
Okay. Why we do the outlier? That's what I don't get. Everybody likes to use the really bad game. Let's talk about the really good game when he threw 3 touchdowns all over the field. Let's talk about the 5-touchdown game when he ran for 3 and threw for 2. We don't talk about that. We talk about the one we got smoked and he looked like poo-poo against USF.
What about it being one possession between Texas A&M and Arkansas?
Okay. That's fine. How about one possession against BC? You want to go that route with me, homie? I don't think you want to go that route with me.
My thing is you can name it. We were undefeated.
You almost lost to the BC Eagles, who barely won 6 games, and I watched every single game. They were trash, bro.
Bro, 17-3 against South Florida? BC would have beat South Florida?
I don't know about that. They lost to NIU.
Hey, shout out the Huskies.
All right. So
hey, shout out the Huskies.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like ACC, and the reason why I go that route with you is because it leads up into the next question.
Yeah.
The ACC conference was softer than baby shit. And you're going to tell me, I know what you're going to tell me, but do you think that played a part in this decision?
Of course. But we're going to sit here and act like the Big 12 was good.
Oklahoma was good.
Hey.
Texas was good.
4 teams in the top 25. ACC, 4 teams in the top 25. 3, 12, 20, and 25. ACC, 5, 13, 18, 22. We're talking about strength of schedule? Yeah, they beat Alabama. We beat 2 SEC teams. We beat the Heisman. We're hanging points. We have very similar games against these teams that everyone wants to, use as that outlier. My thing is,
say that again. You beat the Heisman. He wasn't the Heisman in week 4.
Week 1. Hey,
week 1.
Hey,
week 1.
And I don't care. And I don't care.
It was Clemson week 5, right? 5 or 6.
Yeah, in Clemson.
Right. I gave you that game. I said to you that day, I'm like, yo, money, bro. You guys made Cave Public look like Swiss cheese, bro. Trash.
Horrible. Right. He looked horrible. So, and my thing is the Big 12 was not, you have Oklahoma, yeah, but they shriveled up at the end of the year.
Texas
was literally, that's the only team we need to even bother talking about.
Texas beats every single team in the ACC. Every team.
Besides Florida State.
Every team.
Dog walked. I'm taking Florida State over Oklahoma.
Florida State would get dog walked by Texas. It'd be over at halftime, bro.
Definitely not.
Dogged.
Definitely not.
Byron Murphy and Devondre Sweat would make Jordan Travis wish he never made that comment about breaking his leg in the middle of the season. he would have nightmares. He couldn't get the ball out.
Oh, we're talking about with Jordan Travis in the game?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy.
Alabama would dog walk Florida State.
You're crazy. So then
Kool-Aid McKendry would eliminate Keon Coleman. Gone. You didn't even show up to play. Kool-Aid McKendry, lockdown. Done. Terrion Arnold, Johnny Wilson, don't put your shoes on, bro.
Ain't nobody in the country stopping Keon Coleman.
Kool-Aid McKendry will lock that motherfucker down.
Ain't nobody in the country stopping
That's funny because he's got 13 touchdowns, but those games he disappeared. He disappeared against BC.
Hey, and that's on him?
That's on. Whoa! You're trying to say that Elijah Jones, who locked him down, is a top DB?
No, you need volume. You need play call.
BC, bro.
You need volume and play call. He's a receiver. He doesn't get. You need volume and play call. He
found a way to win no matter what, bro. You caught those one-handed balls when he was triple teamed, right? He found a way.
Exactly.
They tried feeding him. No deals. Elijah Jones said, "Not today, bro. 4 or 5 targets. You caught 1 for 7.
5 targets to my receiver 1.
Yeah, Johnny Wilson had 6.
That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean.
What happened? Your line, caca-poo-poo.
Hey, that's play call at the end of the day. My receiver one need 9 to 12 targets every game.
Yeah, but
when he gets the volume, one of the best receivers in the country.
I love him. I think he's top 5.
I'm not taking him anybody against him one-on-one, as Alabama would have tried to do, bump and run. And then on top of that, it's one of those matchups where we can sit here and go back and forth all we want. But
hey, yo,
Alabama,
where was your boy? I love him, but where was your boy's explosiveness when he was in Michigan State? I'm still looking for it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's explosive in Michigan State. I think that's why you get the hell out of there.
Jaden Reed stood there, right?
True.
I'm just saying. My
thing is what happens when you come to Florida State and you're actually used in an offense that isn't.
You mean when you went to a conference that's a little lighter in the pants than the Big Ten?
Look at Michigan State's rosters.
Look at the Big Ten defense, bro.
Look at the Michigan State's rosters.
I'm talking who he's facing, bro.
We're talking Big Ten defenses. What do you mean? 2 teams have ran that conference forever.
Because their offenses suck. Their defenses are good. Wisconsin will go 10-2 for 7 years in a row, bro, right? But they'll lose 3-point games.
And Wisconsin would come to the ACC and be Louisville at best.
How was North Carolina this year, bro? They were what, 22? Super good, huh? Top 5 team last year, 22.
Hey, top 5?
They were top 5 team at some point last year. They were ranked top 5.
Because of Rattler's freaking overrated ass.
I'm just saying they were ranked. They were ranked in the top 5, and they were at the bottom of the top 25 this year, right?
Yeah.
Florida State, yes, they were the cream of the crop in the ACC, but the ACC is like going to Stop and Shop and getting the Great Value oatmeal instead of getting the Quaker Oats.
You crazy.
I'm sorry, bro.
Crazy. Nino, let's be honest about the Big Ten right now, because obviously they're on a little bit of a pedestal in this situation. Not many of them teams, besides the top 2, are going to any conference and doing anything different than what they did.
I think people forget how good their defenses are in the Big Ten because they face.
You know what's so good in the Big Ten? Offensive linemen
and defensive linemen. Michigan, Ohio State. Iowa sucks offensively. Defensively,
can't score a touchdown, and they would have done the same thing against Florida State.
I listen. My boy D now is Iowa Hawk. He knows. Defensively, I'm with him. Offensively, can't do nothing. But that defense would give Florida State trouble.
And Florida State has a better offense.
Right. Wisconsin?
Would Iowa have won the Pac-12?
No. Can't score.
Iowa would have won the ACC?
No.
Okay. We splitting hairs here.
Florida State would be 5 in the Big Ten. 5.
Nino,
It would be Michigan, Ohio State,
we
Penn
talking a
State,
healthy.
Michigan State, Florida State. I hate Michigan State, and I hate Penn State.
No,
I think
you don't
James
hate them
Franklin is
enough.
the most overrated coach in college football.
You don't hate them enough.
But that defense would make Florida State's offense look stupid. Chop Robinson would be Zeke at the gift, eating up Jordan Travis on a regular. Kalen King would shut down Keon Coleman.
What was your prediction to the LSU Florida State game this year?
I said LSU was going to win.
45 to 24.
That was my prediction?
No.
Oh.
No, that's what happened.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't remember giving it. Right,
they hung 45 on them. Okay?
Yep.
Now we're going to say that these teams... Yes.
Because LSU and Brian Kelly decided week 5 to pull his head out of his ass and make that defense and take Harold Perkins Jr. from off the edge and put him back in the linebacker where he belongs. He should never been on the edge because he's stupid for ever messing with that kid's talent. What happened? You put him in middle linebacker again, get him off the edge, let Mason Smith cook on the edge. What happens? LSU's defense started climbing again, got better. They were terrible for the first 5 weeks. They were soft as baby shit.
That's why I remembered your prediction that game. You had you had the linebacker that he was just gonna be.
Because he played linebacker last year. They decided in that game they were going to put him on the edge because Mason Smith was suspended for 2 games. They got smoked.
They're not one person. They're a conference.
They couldn't put pressure. There was no pressure.
They're a whole conference. In this one, 5th place in the Big Ten? You crazy. You crazy. I'm not even going to – honestly, that one doesn't even need to be – I don't even need to acknowledge that one simply because – clearly, the Big Ten is on a little bit of a pedestal right now when none of them are ever in the mix at the end of the season with the top team.
You in the Big Ten, you ain't in the mix either. You're not in the mix. You lose to Ohio State, you lose to Michigan. You're not in the mix. 1 loss, you're not in the mix. You're not Texas. So you could have 1 loss, you're still not in the mix.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's true, though.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
You think that if you were in the Big Ten and you lost either Michigan or Ohio State or
Florida
Penn
State. So Florida State wasn't better than Penn State as an overall body of work. Team.
Yeah, they were.
No, team.
Yes.
How are we 5th in the Big Ten?
I'm talking on a regular basis, bro. I'm not saying this year. I'm saying on a regular basis, you would be 4th or 5th on a regular basis in the Big Ten, year in, year out. You wouldn't even
see the last few years. The last few years got your head messed up. The last few years got your head messed up. I can see.
The last few years didn't get your head messed up. Your Florida State team in the last few years sucked.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Right.
That's what I mean. It messed your head up. You think that Florida State was one of these, you know what I'm saying, rinky-dink colleges that wasn't going to bring nothing to the table.
That happens when you get Jim, when you have your boy there as the coach.
Yeah, Willie Taggart. Jimbo was bringing in #1 recruiting classes.
Just because you're bringing the recruiting class, you can't coach. Dude was past his prime.
He has a national championship.
And how's he been?
39 straight.
Bro, after that, he scrambled eggs.
He left. Whatever he did after that don't matter to me. I'm actually happy it happened. I'm happy it happened. Hey, I ain't gonna be. Hey, whatever that is over at College Station. Hey, that's on you, Jimbo. But before that, come on now, man. 29 straight.
No,
last BCS national champion.
And then he lost. And that was it. After 29 straight, it was never the same for him.
Yeah, Mariota came in and daggered his ass. But that's what I'm saying, though. It wouldn't be, especially with more competition in the Big Ten. This is still Florida State we're talking about here. This is still a very renowned college we're talking about here.
Yeah.
We have insane amount of legends and Hall of Famers that came out of the school. It wouldn't be just in and out 5th seed in the Big Ten. That's just crazy. That's a crazy statement, to be honest with you.
I just
especially
don't see
knowing who the Big
in
Ten.
the playoff. You wouldn't have been in the playoff since it existed if you were in the Big Ten. You wouldn't have been in it. You would have never sniffed it. Never. Because all you had to do was lose 1. What happens in ACC? You could have probably lost 1 and still made it.
We didn't make it. We didn't lose 1 and didn't make it.
I'm saying you could have probably still lost 1 and been in the same position. Is what I'm saying. Like,
no, I don't think so.
You would have lost 1 and still with the ACC championship.
I think that conference is looked at so horribly now that Clemson is not cream of the crop that it wouldn't. If we would have lost one, it wouldn't even been thought of. They'd be at like 10. They would have moved them to like 10.
Yeah, but I watched last year. They propped up the ACC on a pedestal, bro. Propped them up on a pedestal.
They had to accept. They had to accept that Dabo was.
Oh, but they were trying. The Dabo, right? Mike Norvell. They were Mac Brown. Like, what happened? Mike Elko. They were trying. The ACC's been trying for the past 4 years to survive, right?
Ever since Watson left. Since Watson left the ACC, for sure.
And what happened? Watson left. Dabo put his boots down, saying, "I'm not hitting the portal. I refuse to do it." They sucked, right? But it wasn't the players. It was always Dabo and him being so goddamn stubborn because DJU went to Oregon State, balled out. It was like DJU all over again, right? So it wasn't DJU at Clemson. It's been Dabo the whole time in his stubborn ways. They're bringing one of the best offensive coordinators of college football, and you handcuff the kid with 1 foot and 1 arm behind his back and makes Garrett Riley look like his shit. No, it's Dabo shit.
Exactly.
I've been saying it since the beginning of the year. There's no country for old men in this sport. These
right.
old dogs got to go to pasture.
But that's my thing is like that has really hindered the ACC now that they've accepted that.
And that's a problem. It sucks because Florida State has to be grouped into that because that's the conference. But that's why them and Clemson have been wanting to get out for 2 years.
So my thing is like even preseason, everybody knew that this Florida State roster could do it.
Yep.
By far.
I told you.
I mean, every single prediction was like, man, this team could make the stretch. And now it's like, hold on, though. That ACC, though, not good. Are we looking at the roster? Are we looking at the team? Or are we looking at the conference? And I know it's strength of schedule. But we could go down the list with some of these teams.
Georgia's strength of schedule was poop when it came out. But wait, when it came out. But then down the stretch, the last 5 games in SEC that they played was every single team was ranked. So the strength of schedule at the beginning of the year wasn't the same as the strength of schedule at the end of the year.
Texas played Rice, Wyoming, Baylor, BYU, Texas Tech, TCU, Iowa State, and Houston.
Okay, but Texas Tech, TCU, Iowa, that's Big 12. That's their fault.
And they were horrible.
All right, Iowa State's BC, right? So I mean, we can go down the line and match them up, Florida State and Texas, if you want to.
And that's what I mean is you can match them up,
right? But
you can match them up.
Texas beat Alabama,
right? And that's the one. That is literally the one where it's like
if you beat LSU in week 13, and LSU was undefeated, you win. But it screwed you that game was won. And I told you before the season started, I said it comes down to LSU and Clemson. Because
so then why couldn't Oklahoma get in?
Well, Oklahoma shit the pants the last 2 weeks. Shit their pants, dude.
But they beat Texas.
Yeah, and they lost to UCF. So the victory to Texas goes out the window, bro. You lost to a team that's ranked 90.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like 25. They weren't even in the realm.
My thing is like, since you put Alabama in for winning the SEC, I don't think that the Big 12 really hung with the other conferences the way that they're trying to say that they did to automatically push Texas in for winning against Alabama and winning the Big 12. We have horrid teams in there. Oklahoma, shit the bed.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying, but the Texas team that
loses their star running back.
It didn't matter though. That didn't change that team. It didn't change that team. Did it?
It didn't because you have another high star recruit.
3
behind that running back, huh?
3 of them. Jadon Blue. They have Cedric Baxter, and they have the other gentleman, Savion Red. Like there's plenty of them. So like,
and what did we say about the backup at Florida State? Highly recruited,
right? But he's not Quinn Ewers. He's not Arch Manning. He's not even Malik Murphy.
He's not Arch Manning. You're funny.
You think Tate Rodemaker is Arch Manning?
No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying you're predicting these kids' abilities.
I'm going by Arch Manning in high school to Tate Rodemaker out of high school. You barely were a 3-star. You struggled to get a 4-star. Arch Manning came out of his father's penis as a 5-star.
Did you think Cordero Jones was going to win that national championship?
No, he wasn't even the main quarterback the whole year.
They let him go in. They let him win the championship as a backup.
They let him go in, yeah. We already discussed this. Greg McElroy. I'm fine with it.
Like we are fully just set on the judgment of the ACC team. When I could sit here and run back, we could do this all day with these rosters and these strength of schedules.
Michigan loses J.J. McCarthy. They still win, though.
Oh, they're in. Oh, they would have let them in 100%.
But they would still win without J.J., right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because they're a run team, right?
Right.
Washington loses Michael Penix. They don't go, bro. It's the same situation. They don't go. Washington beats Oregon, and Penix gets his ACL blown out in that game.
What quarter?
They beat
Does he get hurt early? Does he get hurt early, or does the backup come in and like play enough of the game to win the game?
He gets hurt in the third quarter with 3 minutes to go, blows his knee out.
See, that's different, though. We didn't see Washington with 2-3 weeks without him. If Washington goes in and wins that game without Penix Jr., they're in.
No, they're not. If they go into that game and the backup quarterback,
if they win 2 games back to back with the backup without Penix Jr., if they win 2 games back to back,
product matters, bro. Your product is garbage. If you like defensive football, the product was phenomenal.
Right.
But that's not what people want to watch, bro. And that's not what the committee wants to put on TV.
They made it seem like that's what I wanted to watch in Michigan, Iowa.
No, everybody knew Iowa was going to put up 0 points. Everybody except Pat McAfee, who got paid to say,
what did Michigan put up? What did Michigan put up?
35? What did they put up? 25? It was like 20. It was a shutout. I know that.
Yeah.
I think it was 35.
Didn't they get 3? They didn't get 3?
0, bro. 0.
I almost bet the under 3.5. Once I seen it was under 3.5, I almost took it. I won't lie.
That was a joke, but that was the bookies trying to play with shit. Like Iowa couldn't
Michigan didn't have to do a damn thing but hand the ball off, bro.
To me and you. They could have handed the ball off to me and you, and we would have beat Iowa.
Well, yeah, I think I'm cold, so yeah, you might be right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like if Washington looked Penix and they beat Oregon because their defense was stupid. And the backup threw for 100 yards and no touchdowns because you guys threw no offensive pass touchdowns in 2 weeks.
Didn't need them.
All running. And they actually didn't throw a touchdown outside of Jordan Travis going down until it didn't need it. But that's the product that they don't want to see, dude. Who wants to watch that? You.
Alabama fans with Greg McElroy.
Bro, that was how many years ago?
It don't matter.
It does because it's BCS, bro. It all goes back to the same shit. BCS, bro.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. I'm mad that one worked with you. I just did it. I'm mad that I walked into that one.
I saved that one.
I saved
it in the bank.
Definitely.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
so my thing is well, you can't use that example because it's obviously marketing. It's like, well, would you put that team in? It's like, yeah, obviously I'd put that team in.
Yeah.
The strength of schedule. The strength of schedule that we keep bringing up.
It's varied.
If you put that Oklahoma team in the SEC, would they be looked at as strong as they're obviously Texas' second best win? Or
I think they lose 3 games.
Opponent.
I think they lose 3 games in the Big Ten or SEC, whatever you want to put them in. I think they lose 3 games.
They're still top 15 in your opinion.
Probably top 20, 25. Like the last game would count for the third loss because it's probably going to be,
that's a pretty big difference in strength of schedule numbers.
Yeah, well, it also depends. Like, are you going to get a Michigan schedule? Because you look at Michigan, the first 2 games is going against high school teams down in East Lansing. You know what I'm saying? So, like, Georgia, too. Georgia played Johnny Schmo University, like, the first week of the season. So, it's like, I get where you're coming from. But then you look at Georgia's last 6 games, and that's all ranked teams in the SEC. That holds weight in my book.
For sure. But that's the thing, though, is where it's 6 teams in the SEC. How many of them were even ranked after it's all said and done, besides Alabama?
Mizzou, Alabama, Georgia. Tennessee wasn't. I think it was 4 or 5. Now take those 4 and let's put them against the 4 in the ACC. Outside of Florida State, bro, you guys, the ACC's getting smoked.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely.
So this is going to lead me to my last question I got for you. If a top 5 team, and this is kind of brought up because we talked about Penix going down, right?
Yeah,
and I'm going to change it to a different number. If a top 5 team lost their quarterback for the first 2 games for suspension, not even injury, suspension. Okay. He pulled a Keyshawn Booty and got caught. Yeah. Okay? Missed the first 2 games. They lost them both by 10. So it wasn't like a 1-score game. You lost, you know what I mean? Multiple scores, right?
Yeah.
Then he comes back week 3. And they run the table. And they beat everybody by 25 or more points. Blowout city. They making it?
What conference are they in?
That's not what I asked you.
That's what matters. That's what matters right now. That's what matters right now.
Wait a minute.
If you go out and
it matters, or does this matter, right? You go 0-2. You come out and you go 9, it'll be 10-0 down the stretch, right? 10-0. You beat Bama by 20. You beat Georgia by 10.
See, now you're talking different. If you beat Alabama and Georgia, 2 top 5 teams by 20, yes, you get in.
All right, well, so just
simply because of that, though. Because of that, though, is what I'm saying.
Cade got suspended for the first 2 games for Clemson. Can't play. Comes back. They run the table. They beat Florida State by 20. They beat North Carolina by 15. Mm-hmm. They beat Louisville by 20.
Yeah.
They make it?
No.
Why?
Because they only beat Louisville and North Carolina.
Then that doesn't make any sense for your like what you're trying to say about the ACC.
Yeah, there's a difference between
you beat one team outside of them that had weight.
There's a difference between 11-2 and 13-0 in a Power 5.
Is ACC a Power 5?
According to outside of the last couple of weeks, according to everything else college football tells me, yes.
I've only considered Power 5 to be Power 3. And it's been like that for about.
And it's been like that for a while, but we are not the ones in these committees.
We can see what the committee's putting out there for us. Like, that's the thing that gets me. And I understand why you're mad, and I'm cool with it. But like, we've seen this for a long time coming. It just sucks it had to be your team that got hit with it.
Now, what my whole problem with this is that if Clemson was the Clemson of a couple years ago, this wouldn't even be thought of. We needed that one other team.
If Clemson with Cade went 10-0 and Cade went down and they won ugly like you won, they ain't going, bro.
No, nobody. But that's the thing, though, bro. Nobody in the ACC would have went in this situation, is what I'm saying. Because you have that one other game that just boosted the way that their team looks. Like if Texas didn't play Oklahoma, or if Texas didn't play Alabama and lost to Oklahoma, but then ran the table like they did, they wouldn't be in.
No,
they're not in.
No, I'm with you 100%.
Like if Oregon would have beaten Washington, they would have been in.
Right, but that doesn't matter because Washington wouldn't be in. So they just flip-flop.
But that's what I'm saying, though. They would have came in, and it would have just been like, oh, they won the Pac-12. They got a loss. It doesn't. They beat Washington. They're in.
They're a better team
because they have that. But that's the thing, though. You're saying that off of who they played and who they beat is what I'm saying. So if Florida State would have gotten, say Florida State didn't, if they would have gotten LSU later in the season, or if they would have gotten like Mizzou, somebody that was like higher up and really like people really had them on that, they would have been in.
No question.
No question.
And I think, like I said, Louisville sucking wind down the stretch affected their decision with it.
So my thing is like, you can go 13-0, but now you have to worry about Dabo Swinney having good recruiting classes.
Well, I mean, that I can't say because
that's what you're telling me. That's what you're telling me. I need my opponents to be top 5, top 10 in college football right now with all the transfer portal, with NIL. That's what I need. It doesn't matter if I run the table in the ACC. The ACC isn't the ACC anymore because these guys aren't recruiting well.
Yeah, because the ACC sucks, and it's a group of 2, and the guy who was second sucked by a long shot, and there was nobody else even close. your weight in this competition isn't as much.
Well, then I don't want to hear about LSU anymore because they're garbage if that's the case.
They are garbage because they lost 3 games.
Yeah, and one of them was to us.
Right. Which is fine.
The other one was to who? Alabama? Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And who? They lost one more game. Who else did they lose to? Oh, it was a shitty loss.
It was.
It was a shitty loss.
And it was early. It was after that. It was after the Florida State loss.
It was not the next. Was it the next week or the week after that?
It was the week after.
Yeah. No, they won 1 and then they lost. So 1 and 2. Yeah, 1 and 2 to start the year. But like I said, the competition you're facing matters.
Very true. But that's the thing is we're talking one game here. We're talking one more game.
I think if you guys would have came out in those final 2 games, Rodemaker came out and put up 285 and 3 tutties, you guys are in.
If LSU finishes top 8, we're in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But that's the thing is and that's what they look at, the weight of your victories. It sucks. But it would have been the same team for any the 4th team was going through the same gauntlet. You know what I'm saying? Like it just was different because they didn't have the 0 at the end. But you were going through the same gauntlet. They were weighing the competition of your victories and your losses, right?
Man, as soon as they saw Alabama win, they knew they were, hey, Saban, you in. Hey, you in, because we're taking the SEC. I'm really shocked that they didn't put 2 SEC teams in, but it's because Texas beat Alabama.
Yeah.
If Texas did not win that game, it would have been Georgia, 100%.
Right. And I think it was deserving. Like, I think Georgia kind of got snubbed too by having, you know what I mean? Like,
I would have much rather them put Georgia in than Texas. For sure.
Yeah.
You're split. You're predicting teams here. You would have been like, no, scrap Washington.
No. With Georgia and Texas, it's kind of, I think that's splitting hairs. I really do. Because if you look at the first 6 games of Georgia, like, come on, bro. Bro, they paid Vanderbilt, who's the worst team in the SEC. Trash. And they only beat them by 17, which sounds like a lot. With 8 minutes to go, it was a 3-point game against Vanderbilt, bro.
Texas almost lost to Houston.
Vanderbilt hasn't had 6 wins in about 15 years.
I'm not trying to hear it, though. They almost lost to Houston, bro. Like, it's simple. You have these games for each team.
Bro.
You have these games for each team. I understand it's Vandy. I get it.
And Houston's actually been good for the last couple seasons, bro. You
Not
can't
this
say they
year.
haven't.
Not this year.
They weren't bad. Donovan Smith was actually a decent quarterback. I know they had 5 wins and they fired Holgerson, but like the offense was good. Defense was Swiss. You know what I'm saying? But
every defense is Swiss in that conference.
They've always been. For like the last 10 years, they've been Swiss. But if you go on and go old school when Colorado was there, maybe they had defenses then. You know what I'm saying? But
now, if Texas gets walked, what are you gonna say?
If Texas gets walked, then yeah, Florida State should have been there. But I just don't think it's gonna happen. I just really don't. Like so for me, it's Jared versus 1. Okay, he's number 1 DN for me. Him and he's the best edge. The dude from UCLA is the best lineman.
Yeah.
So like if the UCLA guy went in the first defensive guy in the draft, I'm cool with it. If Jared Verse goes as the first defensive guy in the draft, I'm cool with it, right? So like that's cool. But how much better is he than Sweat or Murphy? Like, it's not like eons above them. But you ain't got a guy as good as the next one. Like, there's nobody else on that line that's as good as either Murphy or Sweat after Verse. You see what I'm saying, right? And then if we want to go linebackers, motherfucker started a true freshman, middle linebacker all season in Anthony Hill Jr. A true freshman. Brew?
Hey.
Wait, Brew? Texas don't stop freshmen. You know that.
Yeah.
Texas and Alabama don't stop freshmen.
Texas has had to do a ton the last few years. It's not UT that we've known.
I know. I'm just saying, but this gets started from
it's
game
like, oh,
1.
we're back. Like, oh, we're back now.
I've been hearing they've been back for 10 years, bro. Like, they haven't been back. They're back now. They haven't been back.
I was gonna say. Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, I've been hearing it. It's been smoke for the longest time. Yeah,
we hear it every year.
Last year, if Quinn Ewers didn't get hurt in the Alabama game, they would have beat Alabama. That's fact. They were on their way to beating them, and it would have been Texas was back
There's a lot of hypotheticals. There's a lot of hypotheticals in here tonight.
Bro, he was dog walking them. They were dog walking Alabama until they got hurt.
I'm just saying.
It changed the game, bro. When you got to bring in Hudson Card,
you better hope Quinn come with it. Because if they lose, oh boy,
he looking like he's coming with it. In the last 5 games, he's looking prime Quinn right now. You know what I'm saying? So
for sure. Xavier better. Hey, Xavier better.
There's so many. That's my thing. Is that offense got a lot of weapons, bro? They lost Jonathan Brooks and no hiccups, but there was no hiccups, and he was possibly.
Let's not talk about weapons right now. Let's not talk about weapons right now, Nino.
Well,
let's not talk about weapons right now, Nino.
I'm gonna because they lost their weapon and didn't hiccup. You lost your weapon and went to sleep.
We're talking about a running back to a quarterback. That's not even.
He was the number 1 running back in the country.
Yeah. But that's the thing, though. So was Bijan Robinson, and his backup got drafted too. It's running back.
3rd round, bro. That don't mean nothing. I'm talking about I'm talking about the best running back in the country. You're talking about 3rd round talent. You're talking about 90th players.
We're talking about a Heisman final. We're talking about a true would have been Heisman
Jonathan Brooks
finalist.
Would have been a Heisman finalist. Jonathan Brooks, had he played all year, would have been a Heisman finalist.
Would he have finished higher than Jordan Travis?
Yes.
No.
Bro, Jonathan Brooks had led the country in rush yards. Jonathan Brooks had led the country in missed tackle rate. Jonathan Brooks had led the country in yak yards. Jordan Travis couldn't even smell his underwear.
You know that
he wasn't the best player on his team, bro. Jordan Travis wasn't even the best player on his team.
Who was?
And you know that.
Who was?
Jared Verse or Keon Coleman. Because Jordan Travis can throw it to a spot, and Keon Coleman can go get it.
Weapons.
Okay. Talent.
Weapons.
Talent.
So my thing is, you think it's easier to replace Jordan Travis than it was Jonathan Brooks?
No, I didn't say it was easier. I'm just saying it was smoother.
I feel like it's a lot easier to replace. Is my whole
You lost Trey Benson. What happens, bro? You have no run game.
We don't know. Too many hypotheticals here, Dino.
I've watched it. You lost Trey Benson last year. You had no run game. Like, you can't say it was seen. This is what we've seen. Same O-line. You lost 1 guy. You returned 4 of the 5 starters from last year. Same O-line. Same dudes. No run game last year when Benson was hurt. Garbage.
Different roster.
Same O-line.
Completely different roster.
The only different roster is Keon Coleman and Bell. That's it. That's it, dude. On offense, 4 of the 5 starters returned this year on your line.
Which is huge.
Okay.
Which is huge.
But what I'm saying...
my thing is, so you think Texas, just the seamless transition of that, it should have been harder
to do. You lose the number 1 running back in the country, your offense should take a hit, substantial hit. Didn't. They kept turning out 100-yard backs. The next week, center back, just 2 freshmen, 105 yards.
Every running back Texas has is going to be another 100-yard back.
Because they recruit well.
See, we going to see? Hey.
It's not my fault Mike Norvell ain't a good recruiter. He ain't as good as Shock.
You can't say that if they were predicted to be a college football playoff finalist the entire season.
Who predicted them? Who predicted them to be a college football playoff?
A lot of people
Florida State fans did. Florida State fans kept predicting.
I
never heard the national media. National media never said
Herb Street himself say it week 1. That's ESPN.
Kurt Herbstreit, the guy who's put
I hate him. No, don't get me wrong.
The guy who puts his dog on the social media as his hitter.
And do not get me wrong. I do not like him. I don't. But it was said.
Okay, let's talk about the guys who played college football that are on the media, and they never once mentioned Florida State. Not once. The only time they mentioned them is when they didn't get selected because it was a hot topic.
I'm about to spam you with flicks now. I'm about to spam you with flicks now.
He better play football.
I don't watch enough.
He better have played football because if he didn't play football and put on a suit his whole life, don't matter.
Oh yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
I'm on it. Don't even get me wrong. I'm about to get on my CIA.
If you want to flood me, tag me away.
Yeah, I'm about to get on my CIA.
I'm down for the come down.
Yeah, most definitely.
Man, this has been fun.
It always is.
64 minutes. I feel like we just started talking.
Exactly. And I really. Hey, the Big Ten, I'm going to let you live on this. I'm going to let you live on the Big Ten comment, Nino. But that was crazy.
Hey.
That was crazy.
I'm going to put a poll. I'm going to tag you. And I'm going to say, if Florida State was in the Big Ten,
yeah,
where would they have finished this season?
Yeah, definitely.
with a Big Ten schedule.
Yes.
Okay.
In the Big Ten. Yes.
I'm gonna tag you. I'm gonna put it out there. We're gonna run it to the end of the week, and we're gonna see where it's at.
Most definitely.
My man, I appreciate you. Plug your stuff. Plug. I know your boy, your boy Iceman. You guys be killing it. Plug it.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I don't want anybody to think it's crazy. I'm not always just yapping and yelling about Florida State. I like to keep it money wise. Money driven. So you can catch me on Twitter at PrueBaby10. You can catch us at the Playing with House Money Twitter, PW_House Money. Come join the team. Come join the gang. Get some money. You guys would not be the first. You wouldn't be the last. So definitely come check us out. We got Playing with House Money episodes every Thursday at noon, 11 a.m. noon Eastern. And then the SGC is our soccer game, as our soccer episodes. Iceman is the soccer GOAT, man. I've been saying it forever, even before anybody even knew him. So he's at Iceman 1013, Iceman_1013. Man, come rock with us. Come rock with us. It's not all Florida State and yelling about.
Now, we get together, snubbed. We get excited, bro.
Nino brings out the fire in me.
I was told by Iceman a while back. He said, "Bro, my guy Prue." I was like, "I feel like you two together, you guys talk college football, would be good." I'm like, "Yo, it'll happen. It'll happen. I'm telling you, it'll happen."
Yep.
And whenever we get on the screen together, man, it's always a good time. I appreciate you. I appreciate your knowledge of the game. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it's all love. We banter back and forth, but it's always all love.
Always. I appreciate you guys for having me, man. This won't be the last for sure.
No. And he's the live bet king. Okay. I'm going to let you know something now. If you don't know what live betting is, you want to go follow PrueBaby10 on a Twitter X, because my man will make you money in a pinch, in a quickness. Just when you think you're out of it, my man comes through with the life preserver and gets that big dub. So go check him out. Give him a follow, subscribe, whatever you got to do. But my man and his partner, they're doing their thing over at Playing with House Money until it's a title. So give him a shout.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My man. Appreciate you. Everybody out there, have a good night.